Hi guys, in today's video I thought I would talk about the recent kidnapping of an American slash vlogger in Mindanao, in particular Zamboanga del Norte. And I thought I would just talk about my experience because I've lived in Mindanao 2 times, and I also drove my motorbike all over the place, and I really never ever felt threatened or unsafe at any moment. But there were precautions that I took, and I don't want people to be completely scared off of Mindanao. But at the same time, you should also have some common sense. We're going to talk all about it. Now, I don't want to do a repeat vlog of what others have already done. I know Rike put out a vlog, a very well thought out vlog on the recent kidnapping and talking about it. Now, actually, Rike and I were staying in Davao at the same time when he met his wife. In fact, he met his wife while out visiting with me. So, with that being said, I've lived in Davao a couple of times. And the very first time, actually, I came to the Philippines, I visited in 2015 in September, and there was a kidnapping off of Samal Island, and where they kidnapped, I believe, a Canadian, and I don't remember who else. So that occurred while I was in Davao, which was like, whoa, like I couldn't believe that happened. Now, it didn't stop me from traveling around. I believe these kidnappings are usually thought out plans. They're usually not just random. And the one that just recently happened, well, the guy had married a Muslim girl and actually lived in her house, I guess, in a very small little city. And he was, I guess he also became Muslim himself. Now, that and the fact of becoming Muslim is not really the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that he lived in an area where there was no other Americans, and he was vlogging, which was another big thing, that he just advertised where he was, and it didn't look like he really had any money. In fact, it looked like he was kind of begging on YouTube a little bit to try to get money to give himself a better life, him and his wife. At age 26, the guy really kind of had a lot of money. It really was just horrible planning. And the one thing I will tell you is the Philippines is a huge place. To pick a girl in that particular area and to live in that area is dangerous. Now, I've lived in Davao 2 times. I lived in Cagayan de Oro for about 90 days. I've visited General Santos. I've been to Zamboanga del Norte, and Dipolog, and a lot of these cities I really, really like. But I don't know if I would live there per se, or I don't know if I would be a vlogger and advertising, hey, here I am in Zamboanga. I usually tell people that if you're going to travel around Mindanao, it's best just to be low-key. Go in and go out. And in the areas that you really are kind of on the edge of whether you should be at or not, like Zamboanga. I know plenty of guys who've been to Zamboanga City, and they said no problems whatsoever. Again, I think most of these kidnappings and things are usually planned out events. You've created some kind of pattern, repeated, hey, he goes to the mall every day. Okay, now he lives here. And so they kind of catch wind of it, and they know where you live and where you frequent. And they plan out these kidnappings. They usually aren't just random, where you're a tourist visiting for a week and then they grab you. It's usually not that way. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It certainly could happen. They are very few and far in between these occurrences. They don't happen very often. I actually happen to know the guy. He was an Italian guy. He had a restaurant in Dipolog, and he was kidnapped and I guess held captive for almost 6 months. I actually got to sit down with him on several occasions and talk to him. He wrote a book It's in Italian, though, so for a lot of people, it wouldn't do them any good. He's thinking about putting it in English. He was kidnapped, and luckily, a ransom was paid, and he was released. He had told me that there had been instances and threats on his life before the kidnapping happened. He owned a restaurant. They knew who he was. They knew where he was, and they probably knew he had money. He owned a restaurant. So this is not a guy that was just living a quiet life. You know, he was pretty known in the public of Dipolog, and they knew about him, and they probably knew he had money. And this American guy, same type of thing. They knew he married a Muslim girl. He had it all over his Facebook. He had it on his YouTube channel. And these just are not really bright things to do, and especially in an area where he was at. It is not an area that I would myself live. I felt completely safe driving around Mindanao on motorbike. And I would tell people it's completely safe in cities like Cagayan de Oro, Davao. But to live in one of these small little cities, you got to be careful. You got to be careful, and you don't want to be advertising yourself all over the place. And hey, I've got money. And this guy who just got kidnapped obviously doesn't look like he had money, but they probably thought, hey, maybe his family has money, or maybe he pissed off the wrong person. I did hear he was into a business of loaning money out, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. So it could have had something to do with that. But these were guys who had M16s. And probably Abu Sayyaf. So anyway, the point is I tell people, don't be afraid to go to Mindanao, like Davao, Cagayan de Oro. Use your wits about you. I wouldn't advise living in these small little towns around Mindanao. I know there's guys who are married and they do it, but for the most part, I would stick to either Cagayan de Oro, Davao, and live a low-key lifestyle. There's just so many other places in the Philippines that you can live, and if you want to meet a girl who, for example, is in Zamboanga, have her hop on a bus, send her 500 pesos, whatever it costs. It's not very expensive. You can afford to lose 500 pesos, $10, to meet you in Cagayan de Oro or someplace like that, or take a plane to Davao. You know, don't if you don't feel comfortable, don't go into one of these smaller cities to meet her. You can meet her in one of these bigger cities. I know some people, the heart wants what the heart wants, and if you've chatted with a girl who's in Zamboanga and you're really interested in her, then she needs to understand that you don't feel quite comfortable going there, and she needs to come to you. Cebu, Davao, Cagayan de Oro, someplace like that. So anyway, just my 2 cents on it. I've never felt unsafe driving around Mindanao. But again, I wasn't established in one place where they could get an idea of, okay, these are his habits. He goes to this coffee shop every day. He lives right here. And I certainly wasn't advertising on YouTube, hey, here I am. If I did a YouTube video about different spots in Mindanao, that means I was there and already left. That's usually with my videos. If I'm at a location, like this example, I just took a trip to Iloilo and Bacolod. When you're seeing the videos, I've already probably left there. And that's kind of the way I like it. So I'm not really in the same location. I like to kind of change it up a little bit. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I really just think it was really, unfortunately, just not really smart thinking, this guy. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what his family told him. It's an unfortunate incident. Like Rike said, he's been shot in the leg. What kind of medical care? I don't know. As a former Army medic, I can tell you that if he doesn't get that treated properly, like antibiotics, get the bullet out unless it went through, has surgery to get the damage repaired, he could be in some serious trouble. And hopefully everything works out for him. The guy's a young guy. I hate to see a guy lose his life over some stupid decisions. And if he does get back from this, hopefully he's learned his lesson and he stays out of that area. And if he wants to be married to a young Muslim girl, she needs to understand, and she needs to head back to the U.S. with him or live in Cebu or somewhere else. Anyway, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. We're getting ready to have a thunderstorm here in the background. See you guys next time. Ciao.